Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. For this video, we're going to be discussing the new pitch notes for FC25, and I'm going to discuss whether each of these are a plus above last year's content or if it's a good improvement or not. So we're going to go over each of these pitch notes. I'm going to list out some of the pros and cons. I already kind of read through a little bit of these as before we started, so I kind of have a general idea how it works, so I'll give you my thoughts in a sec. For starters, let's start with Total Rush FC Season 1. Is this a plus, or is this a W, or is this an L? This is a W because, let's say this, right? SP is going to be introduced, and it's going to be shared across these three: clubs, manager career, and ultimate team. So essentially, SP that you gain from either clubs, manager career, or ultimate team will be shared across all three. And of course, there will be specific ones for certain, games, certain game modes and stuff like that. They'll give us specific amounts of SP, but overall, they all should be shared. They all should be good. Each of them will have their own, their own season progress, but the SP you earned will be shared across all of them. So if you're like level 1 on Ultimate Team, on the Ultimate Team bracket, on the Ultimate Team, season progress, you'll also be level 1 on your career progress, on your clubs, stuff like that, right? So it's all shared, it's all good. I think this is a big W because, say, if you want to get some extra SP to get into Ultimate Team, you can play clubs, you can play manager career, which are offline modes for the most part, and it should be a really good way to incentivize playing those modes outside of just playing Ultimate Team over and over and over again. So for me, that's a pretty big W. Of course, we'll have the players, we'll have all this: Muriel, Fontas, Nashville Gil, Gald. And then, of course, Adama Traore with the World Tour, which will give us, more Europe, more like, nation or league team content. Of course, we'll start with Spain, and we'll have like, special evolutions, squad foundations. You'll have weekly objectives for Spanish and stuff like that. So honestly, the mode for the season progress and stuff like that is a W. Next, we will discuss changes in FUT Champs. Is this a W or is this an L? In my opinion, this is a bit of a mixed bag, but I think more leaning towards the W. And here's why. Champions will now be less games. You'll need 3 wins out of 5 in qualifiers to qualify for FUT Champs finals, while you'll have 15 wins, or 15 games rather, to try to get 15 wins and get the maximum rewards for rank 1. The rewards are going to be extremely massive for this FUT Champs. So as you'll see here, for Elite Rivals, you get 200k Ultimate Team coins, a tradable 85 and a times 10, and a tradable 84 times 10, an untradeable base icon, an untradeable 89 times 2, an untradeable 82 times 30, and 3 tradable Team of the Week times 3 player packs. This is going to be massive. This is extremely massive for FUT Champs, because not only will you get rewarded for being in champs and stuff like that, for making to the top, but the rewards are a lot more worth it. Now, my biggest problem with this is that because there's less games, because there's more incentive to win, and because for champs the entry of requirement is much more limited, so therefore you have less chances to make it into FUT Champs finals. That means for the casual player, it's going to be extremely difficult. If you're a casual player, champs has just become almost like 5 to 10 times harder than for you, right? If you're a competitive player, there should be no change. There should really be no change. But if you're a casual player, you're going to have a harder time. The toxic players are going to be insane. There's going to be more sweats. There's going to be a lot more competitive. I get it. Champs finals is supposed to be competitive. I understand that. But I also think that there should be some incentive, at least for some of the middle or low tier players, to get themselves some rewards, even when they're not playing FUT Champs. At least give them plenty of rewards, either through objectives or through SBCs, or do something like that to at least make them feel rewarded, even if they're not playing at the highest competition like FUT Champs. So I'm in a bit of a W side because I'm not like super competitive. I can still get at least 9 to 10 wins on FUT Champs and stuff like that. And those ones still give out pretty decent rewards, but I don't think of myself as a 15 win player, and I just hope that it will continue from that form during the year. But for the most part, it will still be kind of difficult. Division rivals. Is this a W or is this an L? This is probably one of the bigger L's so far, because here's the thing. Division rivals now has a point system. It is not requiring 7 wins this time to get the maximum upgraded rewards. Instead, it's going to require 45 points for the maximum rewards, which means you have to win 15 games in order to get the maximum upgraded rewards. Which, of course, depending on the rewards you get through, say, if you're in the elite division, or if you're in, say, division 1, 2. This is for the elite division. There's 75k coins, 2 tradable 85 plus player picks, 75 gold rares, and 50 rare gold players pack. One is untradeable, the other is tradable. The mega pack tradable, and then 2 untradeable 83 plus player packs. The rewards for these seem more, I would say less, worth it compared to the champs rewards, which does still require you to play 15, but at least for that, they'll still give you plenty of rewards even if you don't get to 15. I get at least 10. Here, I get that, rivals is something you can just play over and over and over again. But of course, with relegation and with, having to not play for draws and stuff like that, draws are still worth 1 point, wins are worth 3. So even if you draw, you'll still get some points. However, relegation is really going to affect how you're going to get those rewards. And for what it's worth, say if you're in like an elite division and then you drop down to division 1, now these elite division rewards are gone. You have to work your way back up, but by then you'll have to kind of sweat a little bit more and stuff like that, instead of just having to get those rewards immediately. So instead of getting, the elite rivals division like locked in. So it's a lot more games. It's 15 games. It is a lot. To be fair, you could pretty much work towards it at the end of the, like throughout any day of the week, given that you obviously do it before the Thursday deadline. But I think it's still going to be a lot more difficult. Hopefully the matchmaking will be like less, strict. It'll still be like based on division and stuff like that, but hopefully it won't be too insane, so maybe with some of the new like rewards and stuff like that will be more better. We'll see what happens. Squad battles, what do I think of them? I think it's about the same. Even though they will like lessen the amount of games of squad battles that will get you towards getting weekly rewards from squad battles, which means obviously you have to be more competitive about getting some of those points. You can still play beyond that to do evolutions, to do objectives and stuff like that. So it's not completely gone. Just because you completed the 14 doesn't necessarily mean you're done for the day and stuff like that. You can't really do any more squad battles. You can still do squad battles for objectives and evolutions, but squad battles in generals are still going to be not too crazy. It's still going to be probably the 6 minutes, so not that big of a deal. Live friendlies, W or L? I'd say this is a W, because for this one, live friendlies are now not based off of division rivals matchmaking, but instead is based on form. So if you are playing in form, that means you'll be playing based on if you're in a winner form, if you're on a losing form and stuff like that, and they'll match you based on basically the bigger losers and stuff like that, and have you go up against the bigger winners when you're on a streak. Now, the one interesting thing about this one is that now draws have to, in order for a draw to count, the game has to completely end. Basically, it has to end at the 90 minutes for it to be considered a draw, which I don't know how that would be if, like, say you're playing for like certain X amount of minutes, still 0-0, and then your opponent decided to quit the game. You pretty much wasted a lot of your time at that point. So, hopefully they will address something along those lines. I don't think this one applies to FUT champs or rivals, thankfully. But hopefully maybe there'll be some remedy to it. But I think overall, the fact that they're going to be, including evolution requirements and objectives and stuff like that towards live FUT friendlies and stuff like that, they'll be incentivizing evolution upgrades through there as well. Gives you a lot more avenues to evolve your players besides just doing it on rival squad battles or FUT champs. And it'll just add another, and of course with Rush as well, it will definitely help a lot. So there's another avenue as well. And it should be a lot more fun. I think with form based, you don't necessarily have to compete against players who are completely like in your level, who just decided to rubber band there just to be a nuisance. at least you'll be going up against any player that just so happen to have a bad day, and you just be like, okay, I could just beat them and I could still level up and stuff like that. So it's not too bad. Not too bad. Season points. SP season points will be removed from weekly modes rewards. I think that's kind of an L. I mean, it's in between. It's between one or the other. I think I can see, like, you know, maybe season points being a bit too overpowered with giving you some SP and stuff like that when you go to like division rivals rewards or foot champs rewards. I still think they should have kept this, at least give a small amount. But if they are going to remedy this, they better give out plenty of SP throughout the year, throughout the season, in order for it to make it worth it. Evolutions, W or L? I say this is a W, because before, where evolutions had a minimum requirement, now evolutions will have a maximum requirement. So say, for example, you have 3 players. Say this is the requirement that they're going for, right? The pace upgrade, plus 10, right? So I think they might have made an error here now that I'm thinking about it, because let's say, yeah, a starting pace before an evolution in FC24, if the minimum, say, was 80, that would be your minimum right there, right? That was the or at least that was the maximum requirement to start the evolution. And then you get the plus 10 and he'll go up to a 90, and that'll be the 90 right there as well. So, right? But now with the new system, where the maximum was set at, in this example they used the maximum set of 92 in the new system, right? Which right here, I think there's a bit of an error, because if this was 85, right? If this was an 85 rated, you know, if you say like you started an 85 player, doesn't that mean that it will go up to 92 regardless here? Because this is just a plus 5 upgrade when the maximum was 92. So I may not understand this very well. Maybe I'm not entirely sure. You must see an evolution that gives plus 10 upgrade to pace of a maximum of 90 pace. Yeah, of course. Okay, applying this new system to the above example, you might see an evolution that gives plus 10 upgrade to pace up to a maximum of 90 pace, right? To the above example. Oh, okay, hang on. Yeah, if an evolution provided a plus 10 to pace, it would always apply the same upgrade to a maximum of a 99. This created tuning challenges that resulted in entry requirements being quite strict. Yeah, and that's been the biggest problem, right? So yeah, in FC25, we'll have maximum limits. So right here, you'll see if you started the pace right here at 80 and it gets the plus 10, they'll have a 90 and 90, right? If you had an 85, by that point, they say that the maximum requirement would have been like in last year. In the old system, this evolution would have had a entry requirement of a maximum 80 pace. So from here on, all these evolutions right here will not be eligible, right, for last year. However, since it has 85 pace, it's still eligible for the upgrade, which will bring him back to a maximum of 92. I'm assuming this is 92, and I'm assuming this is a typo, but it should be at least 92 max right here, because this is where they require for the example, if we set the maximum entry pace to 92 in the new system, you can compare the attributes in the following way. So I think this is a mistake, but this should be a 92 right here, right? Because that's the maximum pace. And if you get a plus 10 here, it will end up as a 95, but because the maximum evolution pace upgrade is supposed to be set at 92, this should be a 92, right? Of course, in here, if you say like, if you have a 92 pace player here, and the upgrade was supposed to be plus 10, but the max is 92, then that means when you put a 92 pace player there, he won't get any upgrades. He'll just stay at 92 because that's the maximum. However, you could choose a player that has exactly 92 pace, and he won't have any pace upgrades, but say it will give you like a plus 2 shooting, plus 3 dribbling, plus 2 that blah blah blah, then that will help you in that regard. So there's that. Of course, if it goes beyond the 92 maximum of where the maximum 92 upgrade is, then obviously it's not going to be eligible for that. So I think this is a better option, because that means that now, instead of having to worry about players who could be a maximum, you know, who you needed a maximum of 80 just to get a plus 10, now you can choose a player that would be at the maximum already and then just upgrade the other portions that need upgrading. So yeah, if you had like instead of worrying about getting a player to get a lot of pace, you can already pick a player that already has a lot of that pace and just focus on upgrading the other portions, right? So let's throw in an example real quick, right? Let's throw in a little example. All right, let's throw this as an example then, right? For example, I'm running a Japan RTG. So of course I'm going to be looking for players to evolve throughout the year. And let's say for example, right? Let's say the maximum rating is an 83, and anything below that will be eligible for this particular evolution where the maximum is 92 pace. Well, you can have a maximum 92 pace by the end of the evolution, but there's no entry level maximum in which, you know, pace requirement will be a thing, right? So let's just say that, right? Let's say, yeah, if it had been the previous year, Nagasato would qualify for this, but a player like, for example, Takefusa Kubo will not qualify because he will have 84 pace. Daichi Kamada will qualify because he has 79 pace and stuff like that, right? So in this case, with the new evolution now Nagasato qualifies, Kubo qualifies, Daichi Kamada qualifies. Now, if it was just a pace upgrade, we'll say that, you know, say Kamada will get the pace upgrade. He'll get a plus 10, which means I'll put him at an 89 pace, which is nice. And then, of course, the other upgrades that may come along with it, if they do so. For Takefusa Kubo, if the 92 rated evolution was placed, like the maximum, then Kubo's max pace will not be 94, it'll be at 92 because that's the max that's set. But he'll still get the upgrade along with the rest of the upgrades and such, right? Of course, that applies for Yuki Nagasato, where she'll get the plus 10, and then of course the other upgrades, and still has an 83. She'll be really decent in that role if she ends up getting like the upgrades. Now, if, say for example, my player was Maeda, you know, Daizen Maeda. He is a silver player, but he will not qualify because he has 93 pace, because at the evolution's not max requirement but max upgrade will be at 92. Therefore he's already beyond what it's possible, so therefore he doesn't qualify. So Maeda will not be included in that one. But let's say, for example, let's put in another Japanese player in here just for argument's sake. Let's put in Junya Ito, right? Junya Ito will also qualify for the evolution because his pace, even though it's an 87, it will still place him under that, you know, the max requirement that will be finalized by the end of it all, right? But his max upgrade when the evolution is complete will be at 92, right? So even though he is at 87, he will only get a pace increase up to 92 pace, which is the maximum that the evolution will allow. That's basically the example that is being set on the pitch notes, right? And hopefully that'll be, you know, hopefully that would, you know, help a lot, especially if we get the specific upgrade. You know who really needs it from our other RTG, from my regular RTG? This guy right here from GS Merchants. This guy really needs that pace upgrade. If I put him up to 78, I think that'll make him more decent. And then of course there's some already like leaked evolutions and stuff like that are coming out soon, which Footbin hasn't updated yet, but maybe with those upgrades he'll get something even much more better. But in any case, that's pretty much that for the evolutions. I think that's a big W. Icons, of course, W, whatever, that's fine. Heroes, cool. Transfer value and stuff like that. See, okay, well that's interesting, right? Site today, yeah, we expect still these sites to remain one of the most of the moments. Yeah, of course. Thankfully they're a bit, you know, like they're pretty accepting of them. The average transfer market price, if they can put that there, yeah, like if we put it on the card, that's a lot more convenient, right? That's a lot more convenient to just kind of have a little gauge as to how these players are valued and stuff like that. So that's a bit of a W. Multiple versions of packs, they've already addressed all this stuff. It doesn't really matter. Club membership, of course, I don't really care about that. EA Play membership. Preseason Euro rewards will be on October 10th. That's cool. And that's pretty much it. So overall, for this pitch notes, what do I think? Is all of it a W or L? Pretty much all the notes that have been given have been on the W side. Of course, Rivals had more of the L portion of the whole thing. So hopefully, you know, maybe they'll reduce the amount of games needed to win once they realize that that's a lot. Maybe they'll change up the rewards to make it more incentivizing, stuff like that. But overall, the rest of the video, the rest of the things are pretty good. I think the one group of people that are going to have a struggle with this game is definitely going to be the casual fan base, because casuals are going to have a hard time. A lot of the better rewards that you will get from Ultimate Team are going to be in champs, which now has become a lot more competitive because there's less games, and the entry for getting into said finals and stuff like that, it's much more, I say, compressed, where you need to win 3 out of 5 instead of getting like 4 out of 10, you know? Whereas you have a lot of opportunities to mess up and then still get to finals. Now you almost have no room for error when you enter FUT champs. So the competitive nature of FUT champs is going to be a lot more difficult, but hopefully, at least for a lot of the competitive people, and you know, for content creators like myself who will constantly play this game and, you know, getting myself better and better and better overall, hopefully this won't be a problem for me as far as content goes. But for everybody else, casually, all I can really say is good luck. But with that being said, guys, if you guys do enjoy this little video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you all next time. Hopefully, maybe I'll do one last FC24 video, just like opening up a fresh account with, like, you know, the 85x10s and seeing what I can build from there. But if not, I'll just like wait till the game actually releases and stuff like that, and we'll see where it goes. But I'll see you guys then. Take care. Goodbye.